So you want to start an online store or an e-commerce business and you literally just have no idea how to get started. Welcome to the rest of the world where they have ideas and don't know what the hell to do. So in this video, I'm going to go through a very simplified version of how to start an e-commerce store. So again, I'm not going to cover every single bit because there's a lot to cover, but we're going to dive into the really nitty-gritty of what are the 7 to 10 things you need to do to start your own e-commerce business. And if we have not met, my name is Carrie. I'm an e-commerce product biz strategist and educator, and I have a lot of videos on how to start an e-commerce business, how to scale an e-commerce business, and in this video, we're really gonna dive into how to get started. So if you have not subscribed, be sure to tap that subscribe button and hit that little notification symbol so you know when new videos are gonna be coming out. Let's dive into it. So you are on Instagram, you're scrolling through, you see all these beauty brands or health brands or pet brands that are launching these awesome products, and you're kind of like, I could do the same thing, but I don't know how to get started. So let's just walk through the nitty-gritty yet simplified version of starting an online store in 2022, 2023 and beyond. So the first thing that you really need to do is understand what kind of product are you going to sell, or what kind of niche are you going to enter into. So if this is your first time starting an e-commerce business, I would definitely recommend starting simple. Find one main product that you really want to sell, and then you can branch out from there. So let's say you really want to sell, let's just use an example of rubber dog ball toys. I have 2 dogs and they love their dog ball dog toys. So let's just use that as an example. So say I'm like, I want to start a pet business. I want to create, or I want to either manufacture or buy and resell these dog balls. How do I get started? What do I do? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that this is a profitable or winning product idea. There's a few ways that you can do this, but the biggest thing I'm going to stress here is make sure your product solves a pain point. Make sure you choose a product that your product solves a solution for someone. The world doesn't need more products. The world needs more solutions to their problems. So you want to really think long and hard here before you dive into starting an online store and spending a lot of money. Find a product that people that need, you know, if it's a product that is like useless, like I see a lot of products on TikTok, and while it's fun to have like weird little keychains and, you know, just different things that like make no sense, you want to think big picture here. And those products might be trendy for a little bit on TikTok, but the trend won't last and then people won't buy it. But if you have a product that solves a true pain point for someone, your product will always be in demand. So I want you to really think long and hard. Does my product solve a pain point for someone? Does my product create a transformation or a solution? Or lastly, does my product make someone feel something? So like I was thinking about this the other day as I was riding in my husband's Jeep Wrangler. I was like, this car is just meant for adventure. Like it makes you feel free and adventurous versus like a minivan where that might be for like a family or a mom with a bunch of kids, and she needs a car that can fit multiple children inside, probably is safe, convenience, like the doors slide open, she doesn't need to fumble around with keys. So that's the kind of thing that you want to think about with a product is like, does it solve a pain point? Does it make someone feel something? If the answer is yes, then you are on to a winning product. Otherwise, you can look at websites like Trend Hunter, Google Trends. You can even search for like TikTok made me buy it. You can look at Pinterest, and you can also look at Alibaba. And Alibaba is a manufacturing company that we will talk about in a minute. But you can kind of look at these different websites and get an idea of like, what's a trending product? What is a product that people are buying? What are products that people continue to buy over and over and over again? What are the best sellers? What are people searching for? Another thing that you can do is look at a website called ubersuggest.com. It's a search engine optimization website. But the reason it can work really well for this is that you can type different products in there and see if people are searching for that. If people are searching for that on a monthly basis, then again, that's going to give you a better indication that's a good product for you to maybe try to go for. So the other thing that you want to think about is what's your unique value proposition for your business. So in 2016, I started my own company, the Dapper Dog Box. It was a pet subscription box business, and it was an e-commerce store where I sold pet products. So when I was coming with my idea, I thought, okay, I've tried all these pet subscription boxes in the past. I didn't like them for these reasons. And so when I built my own subscription box business, I really thought of what were the things that I didn't like about the other ones and where's the opportunity. So for me, my business was very much focused around pet accessories. So I gave everyone in the box a custom dog bandana along with other goodies like treats and toys inside, but no one else was doing the bandanas, and that was my unique differentiator. So when you're coming up with a product idea, you can also look at like what's currently out there and what is missing from the market right now that I could create a product like that. So again, like if we want to keep it simple here, you want to just buy a product from a supplier and then resell it with your own packaging or labeling. That's going to be the easiest option here. But if we're looking into like manufacturing from scratch, like you have, let's say I'm trying to think of a product that I have in my house here. Let's just say you have some sort of a water bottle and there's a function that people really keep asking for in terms of a water bottle. Well, you could manufacture your own water bottle and you could add those features in that people want to know, people are requesting. So one thing that you can do is I heavily, so this would be step 2, market research. Look at what other people are doing and look at what they're not doing. Look at reviews. Look at even like going to Amazon and looking at books under that topic. Look what people are writing in the comments. What are people wishing for? What are people wanting? Go to Yelp, go to their Facebook pages. You can see reviews from all the different people, their customers, and you will get and learn everything you need to know about what the current products are not doing, and that's your opportunity. So there's a lot of opportunity here to really take a product that people are already buying, but instead of just being like, oh, I assume I know what people want, you're actually using data in people's reviews to guide you on that product conceptualization. So again, find a winning product, find a product that people need, and then you want to find a supplier. So I'm not going to go into all the different types of business models under e-commerce because there's a lot of options. There's drop shipping, there is like private labeling, white labeling, manufacturing, wholesaling, subscriptions probably is one. For this, I want to keep it really simple. Basically, in a nutshell, drop shipping is when you have a website and let's say if you have a Shopify store and you connect a third-party drop shipping app. So let's say you use like a Sprocket or Oberlo, and on there, people will have the different products that they have. And again, you can import those onto your store. And then if people buy, that third party ships the product and you have nothing to do with it. So it's great because someone else is fulfilling the orders for you. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time to spend on this business and you want it to be like a side hustle, you want to kind of get your feet dirty with e-commerce, and drop shipping could be a great option for you, but you do have less control and like you can't control the amount of inventory. So maybe your best seller that you sell on your drop shipping store just sells out and they don't restock it. Well, do you have other products that are gonna get you more sales? So you have to think like the lack of control or the amount of control that you want in your business. Things like manufacturing, white labeling, private labeling. I'm gonna kind of clump these together even though they're not 100% clumped together, but essentially you would find a website called like Alibaba.com, which is a Chinese manufacturing company. And you would go in there and you would say, okay, I want to find this specific type of water bottle, but I want it to be customized or personalized or something. And then you work with a supplier, they ship you the product, and then you ship the product from your, again, your house, your warehouse, or your third-party shipping company or something. So there's a lot of options here. It depends on like how much control you're looking for, and it depends on how involved you want to be, So for me, I both bought products and then resold them, and I also manufactured. So I manufactured dog bandanas. I went to Alibaba, I found a supplier, I reached out to the supplier, we negotiated on pricing, I got samples, and then I started ordering from them every single month. So it can be as easy as that, honestly, but Alibaba.com is I believe it's the biggest manufacturing website that you can literally go and you can start searching through anything that you want to. If you want to buy scrunchies, if you want to buy dog ball toys, if you want to buy water bottles, but you want to put your own spin on it through the label or a feature on the product, Alibaba.com is where you can pretty much do any of that stuff, and the options are endless. A couple things that you want to really consider are the size of the product, the weight, because that all affects the shipping. And from someone who has wasted a lot of money ordering things from overseas, like for example, custom boxes, custom packaging, and not factoring in all the tax and things you have to pay from getting product shipped overseas, versus when I did my dog bandanas, they were really, really small and tiny. So like I could order 2,000 dog bandanas into one small box. And so I avoided a lot of those like extra additional custom fees and expenses. So keep in mind the size of your product. It drastically will affect how much you pay to get that product shipped overseas and how much you're charging your customers. So just a couple of things to really, really keep in mind. And if you are working with a manufacturer, say you want to manufacture your product, you can go the overseas route like Alibaba.com, or maybe you're like, I want to create a brand new product that no one else has. There's a lot of options there too. So you're gonna have to find a manufacturer, or you're gonna find a local manufacturer and create a prototype. So there's a lot of different options here, and I want you just to keep it super, super simple. But if you wanted to create your own product, you would have to create a prototype. And if you wanted to do that locally in your own country, let's say we're talking US, Canada, UK, Australia, you can just Google your local companies wherever you live, and you'll be able to find someone that manufactures some type of product that you can reach out to them and figure out how you can create a prototype. And then once you get a prototype, you can always then go and try to find a supplier overseas where it will be a lot cheaper for you. So those are kind of like the nitty gritty of like the business model and the product type. The next thing that you really, really want to do is validate your business idea. And I'm going to try to go through this a little bit quickly. You want to validate your business idea. Just because you think your idea is amazing doesn't mean that everyone else does. So before you spend $1 million on inventory, manufacturing, prototypes, validate your idea. Think about your ideal customer who needs the product that you want to sell, and then go have conversations with those people and figure out and make sure that the product is what actually they're looking for. Okay, so let's talk about the next step would be sort of like, now that you know the product, you have a supplier, you're getting samples from the supplier, it's going great. You want to think about like those business and brand foundations. This is kind of the boring stuff, but it's stuff that's really, really important to do. So things like legally registering your business, choosing your business name, starting a bank account. So these are things that maybe not super fun things to do, but they're definitely things that you need to do. So for me, I always recommend people, if you're selling a physical product, to set up an LLC. So this is going to be totally dependent on where you live and what state you're in on how complicated the process will be. I have set up a business in both California and Washington. I will tell you, Washington state was like 5 million times easier than setting a business up in California. But again, wherever you live, you've got to go through the legal stuff and set up a business. LLC will protect you in your assets. So if anyone sues you, they're not going to come after your personal assets or money, but it will be your business. So something to think about. To get started, you could always do a DBA, doing business as, and that's going to be the cheapest and easiest way to get started. But like I said, I don't want to give you legal advice. That's going to be something that you're going to do on your own, and whether you want to wait to set things up is totally up to you. But obviously I have to mention the legal thing because that's something that you have to do. You're going to choose a name. So a name is definitely a really important part of a business. You want to make sure that the name that you're thinking of isn't already taken or trademarked. So you can go to, I'll link the link below. I think it's like Nessie or something, and you can look up the trademark and make sure it's not something that someone already has. And then you want to start thinking of like the visual stuff. This is kind of the fun part, the visual branding. So what kind of colors are you going to use? What's your logo going to look like? What kind of vibe are you trying to put out into the world? This is definitely a really important part of setting up a business, but I don't want you to get held back by the complexity of this part. You can easily go to Pinterest, for example. If you're like, okay, my ideal customer is like female and I see my brand as something that's colorful and energetic and high energy, then you don't want to choose colors that are like super plain. You'd probably choose like an orange or yellow or red or something like that. And you can literally, once you have some sort of idea of color that you're looking for, go to Pinterest. You can literally type in a word called Showit websites, SHOWIT. And if you type in Showit website templates, you'll get all these different beautiful websites. And you can look at the color scheme they have. You can look at the fonts that they're using. That can give you a really good idea of the colors and the vibe that you want to choose for your business. But I would definitely, if this is your first business and you're on a budget, I would not splash out at this part. I would go DIY scrappy version, go to Pinterest. They already have so many color palettes that are put together nicely for you, and you can do that to get started. But definitely keep in mind that the colors and the visual branding is going to attract or repel people. So definitely put your effort into the branding. It definitely pays off, but you can always start off doing the free scrappy version like yourself. And then once your business grows, you make sales, then you can always hire a branding person and things like that. Okay, the next step is going to be to building out your online store. So this part, I definitely know scares people a lot, but let's keep it super simple. Shopify.com, it is the best and easiest way to set up an online store. They have already created themes that you can buy for $200, $300. It's worth it to do that versus the free theme, but they do have free themes. And if you just want to get started as cheap as possible, go with the free theme. Keep it simple as possible. You're gonna have to try to get some product photos. You're gonna have to get some, ideally, photos of people using your product. But if you're in a pinch, you can always go to websites like Pexel.com, P-E-X-E-L. It's either Pexel or Pexels.com. And they have a lot of really beautiful, not stock, I mean, they are stock images, but they're like lifestyle images. And you can always pop some of those in just to get yourself started. But you want to invest in product photography. So you want two things. You want one, your product against a white background. That's going to be for your product pages or collection pages. And then two, you want lifestyle images. So people or animals or whoever using your items in real life. So for me, for example, when I was starting my business, I lived in California. So I hired a local photographer. I literally found him on Craigslist. I think it cost me $200. We went out to a beach in California. I brought my dog. I brought all a bunch of boxes and product, and he shot the whole thing for me in about an hour to 2 hours, and it was like $200. And those photos are what I use for my website, for my social media, for my email campaigns, for my pre-launch. They set the tone for my whole business. And if I had not used that photographer and I just tried to do it myself, I wouldn't have had the launch that I did. So definitely invest in a photographer, but you can find people in your local area on Facebook, on Craigslist, anything. And a lot of people are trying to build up portfolios, like college students, they're building up portfolios and they'll do it for a really, really good price. So definitely don't skimp on product photography. And then you want to set up the back end of your Shopify store. So you want to set up things like your shipping, your notifications. Shipping plays a huge role in whether or not someone will buy your product. So keep in mind, I always recommend people, if your product is priced high, like $75 or higher, I would have like free shipping included. You can always increase the price of your product to reflect the free shipping part. So don't worry about that. But there's a whole thing on psychology of pricing, and people will rather pay more money to get free shipping. So for example, you could set a free threshold where someone has to spend $100 to get free shipping for your product or your store. So people will literally like just keep on adding product just to not pay for shipping. I like to always, if you're selling t-shirts, apparel, like small things, $5 for shipping is definitely acceptable, but if it's any more than $5, I recommend you reduce it, charge $5, and then increase the product price, or increase the product price and just do free shipping. You will get more business if you do free shipping, as long as you're adjusting the product so you're making enough profit there. And then you want to look at things like your packaging. So again, if this is a new business, your first business, start small and simple. You can literally get poly mailer bags from Amazon. You can get white poly mailer bags. You can create stickers on Sticker Mule, or you can get branded poly mailer bags on Sticker Mule, or you can literally do like a box, a white box, a brown box. I definitely don't like cardboard or brown boxes for packaging because we want to create an awesome customer experience here. But again, if it's just to get you started, you can use Uline, Amazon, your local packaging stores, and just start simple. A branded box or branded poly mailer bag is going to be a really, really awesome thing, but do what you can. I use companies like a Pack Lane or, Box Up. You can get branded boxes that are really, really fun. They are going to be more expensive. So I always recommend, if you can ship something in a bag, do a poly mailer. Get a nice sticker printed, which you can literally do at like Staples, or you can do at Vistaprint. And that's going to create a really, really nice packaging for you. But just keep in mind, the bigger your product is, the heavier it is, it's going to be more expensive to ship. And then the next thing is really like the pre-launch stage. So what you're wanting to do once you're building out your online store, you have a landing page where you can start collecting email addresses. So in Shopify, there's a pre-launch page where you can literally have that live and you can start collecting email addresses. So you want to get as many email addresses before you launch your store as humanly possible. So we call this the pre-launch, the hype phase. So work on getting email addresses. So you want to have that pre-launch page in your store that you can share in your social media, your Facebook page, your TikTok, wherever you're promoting your business. And then just remind people, you know, we're launching in a month. If you sign up, you can get some sort of incentive, a free item, an extra item, a discount, but make it incentivizing for people to join your email list. And then right before you're launching, this is the most important part, is like you're trying to create hype. You're trying to get people excited for your product to launch into the world. So everything from social media, countdowns, campaigns, if you're doing paid ads, if you are doing, if you're sending emails, just get people excited. And that's really the gist of it. So the pre-launch phase is really, really important. But again, if you're launching your online store and you only have 20 people on your email list, still launch it. Because you know what? The best thing that you want to do after you launch your store is just try to get sales. You want to get sales. You want to get people submitting product photos for you. You want to get reviews for your business. So whatever you can do to get those things from people is kind of what you want to focus your time on. But you want to also get your store out in the world. So if you don't have a lot of email addresses, I always recommend still launching the product. So there we go. This is the 6 or 7 ways that you can start an e-commerce business with ease. It isn't super complicated.